You'd think two people alone would speak. We spoke the one thing we were scared to admit. They said nothing at first, just the clock, the kettle, and the way our breaths learned a new rhythm. Just us tonight, two shadows on the same wall pretending we didn't notice how close our knees had become. In the silence there existed a world where our fears lived and thrived. Each tick of the clock echoed the thoughts we couldn't voice as we exchanged glances laden with everything left unsaid. I wanted to say the usual, the weather, the news, a joke that lands like a pebble, but my mouth kept the thing it had been rehearsing for years like a secret note folded into the pocket of my shirt. You ever wonder, I said, barely more than a thought, what happens when people choose the quiet over the correction? She looked at me like I'd offered her a map to a place she'd been lost from and didn't know it. The room got smaller, not in fear, but in possibility. We found a language made of pauses. Each pause pulled a thread. Childhood, the job that drained laughter, the apology we never finished saying. The words hung in the air like dust motes dancing in a beam of sunlight. Each pause felt heavy with years of silence longing to be understood. I could see her processing the flicker of recognition in her eyes as memories began to surface, elements of our shared past, intertwining with what lay ahead. We spoke without speaking our hearts, conversing in spaces where our voices hesitated. It was there in that quiet understanding that we realized the weight of our unaddressed truths and the beauty of finally facing them together. She reached for my hand like a confession, not dramatic, simple, honest. A small hand that said I stayed when it was easiest to leave. And in that tiny, ordinary admission, the world rearranged. Promises didn't fall from ceilings like rain. They grew at the edges, careful and sure. We didn't fix everything. We only did the only brave thing left. We sat with what was real. Just us tonight. No fans, no audience. Just two people deciding to be the version of themselves that doesn't hide behind excuses. And when the light came on in the morning, it didn't feel like a verdict. It felt like a beginning. The sunlight streamed through the window, wrapping us in its gentle embrace, highlighting the warmth between us. It was a space where laughter could linger and vulnerabilities were cherished. Each moment we shared felt like a stitch binding our lives closer together, crafting a new narrative that was uniquely ours. If you're holding a quiet that needs saying, sit with it, say the line, see what happens, because sometimes the smallest evenings keep the loudest truths. If this moved you, share the quiet. Tag someone you stayed with. Comment what did you keep for too long. Subscribe for more stories that start in the dark and end in the light.